Hi, this is Donna, psychic medium and direct messenger for spirit. If this is your first episode, welcome. I invite you to listen to previous episodes where I link my guest with their loved one in the world of spirit. What started as one thing is morphing into so much more, not just for my guest, but for all of us. Thank you for listening. I'm ready to get started. Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to start with both closing our eyes for a bit and just taking some breaths in and out, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in, letting go of everything we brought before this moment. Softening from the head to the toes. And opening the heart and the mind. Would you state your first name and the phrase, "It's a beautiful day"?
Jessie, it's a beautiful day.
Thank you. You can open your eyes now. For me, state the first name of the loved one that you'd like to link up with.
John.
John was a very giving man. Not only was he giving, but he was humble in that giving. It appears to me when I say the word giving, he didn't just literally give things, like he would have given you the shirt off his back, or if he had an extra plate for dinner, he would give you that. But he would also give and spout his words of wisdom, but very humble. Would any of that make sense to you, Jessie?
Absolutely.
I see him closer to people on the floor, like he's bending over. Did he either have a lot of children that he interacted with, or did he work with children, somebody smaller than the age of 8 or 9?
The children and grandchildren.
Yes, lots of them, like not just 1 or 2, but he interacted a lot with them. Would that make sense?
Yes.
And that's what I saw first. He was bending over, giving to the children. So that resonates with you. That is who he was.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessie.
Very giving in so many ways.
I see it as that was like a big part of his life. Like I'm sitting here, I paused for a moment because I'm waiting for him to do something else in my head. And he's so focused, excuse me. That's something. So focused on the children that he may have not really done a lot for himself. Would that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm getting very dry in my throat. Let me take a sip. Which to me says he didn't really voice what was going on with him, maybe internally.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's good. But he's talking to me. We know he's fine. He's just showing me these things. And I do believe he was older when he crossed. He maybe wasn't elderly, but he was older. And for everybody here, Jessie already told me that he's her grandfather, but he wasn't elderly. I wouldn't say like he was in his late 80s or 90s. Would you? Is that correct?
Actually, he would have been 92.
Did he act like he was younger? Because, I still see him bending over. Did he have the ability to still be active at that age?
No, until probably about, I would say 88, 89. And then after that, those last couple of years, I feel like he was kind of already in a different realm.
Even to 88, that's still to be active at 80, in their 80s.
Yes.
He's still bending over with the children. I would say he's still working on his ability to communicate with the children. Do you know if any of the kids, his grandchildren, still talk to him, or might say, has to have a picture of him in their rooms, but still say, "Oh, I still hear Grandpa talk"?
That might be me.
Do you have children?
I do. I have one.
I'm feeling he's still more focusing on the littles of the family. Is there someone new that just came along? Are there new babies?
Yes.
So I'm going to go with that.
Yep.
I'm going to go with he's even interacting now with the great grandchildren. Would that be correct? Yes. Yes. Great
Yes.
grandchildren. I would say I'm again pausing because he's not looking at me yet. He's still looking. Did they just come along? These babies? Is it recent?
About a year.
A year. So they're young still, under a year.
Well, and then there's a 4-year-old.
These are all great grandchildren.
Yeah, those two are the great.
He's still around the children. He enjoys very much the younger children. So he's still around I'm asking him, I would watch going forward if the young ones tend to be playing or maybe speaking to someone when they're just playing with themselves. You understand?
Mm.
And they're on the ground. So he's bending over, the kids are on the ground. So if they're on the floor playing with toys and he's playing with them, he's interacting with them. Notice if they're acting like something else is there besides them. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yeah.
You understand that he might be playing with the kids still.
Yes.
Do you know if they've ever said something?
Not that I know of.
All right. Well, let's keep that. Let's keep that in our thought. He's just so focused on them. Again, such a giving man. I just want to play with them. I really want to play with them. And I would think he misses that the most from the physical world. But he's understanding that he can play with them now in the physical world. I would say as they get older, they might notice something. They might notice that. He's pretty focused on that. You understand, though, how that works, what I'm saying. Is that correct, Jesse? I don't have to explain that anymore.
Yes, I get it. Thank you.
We'll listen for that. So I'm asking him now to stand up. And he's like, all right, I'll stand up and speak to you. And he said his life was very full. And it was full because of all the people around him.
Yes.
He said there was never a dull moment.
That would be true.
And even as I got older and couldn't interact as well, he said, I was listening. I was listening to the conversations. I was listening to the jokes. There was a lot of humor. Do you understand?
Yes.
He said, I heard it all. And I didn't take anything personally. So I don't know if when he says that, does that mean, when he was maybe a little incoherent, that people around him were maybe joking or not paying attention? He's saying, I didn't take anything personal. Would that make sense to you, Jesse?
Yes.
He said, I enjoyed it just as I enjoyed every part of my life, even though there were pieces of me that I kept hidden from all of you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
He said, I felt I lived a full life. So as my days got nearer to the end, and he's saying not days, Donna, but years got nearer to the end, I didn't fight it. And I didn't want to fight it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I don't know if there were people around him that were saying, hang in there. We got to do this. We got to do this. And he's like, I didn't want to do any of those things that would prolong my life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. It feels like he just had a smile on his face those last few days, whether it was inner or outer. He's showing me him lying down. And although his eyes are open, there's a smile on his face. He knew time was coming. Time was getting short. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It seems there's one person by his bedside, but yet a lot of people in the other room in the image in my head. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Like we didn't want to overwhelm him. One person came in at a time.
Right. Yes.
Or it wasn't allowed.
Right.
Couldn't get one more person in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that piece?
Yes. I know we were living out of state from where he was living at the time, but we had went to visit him, all the family, couple carloads and such. And that was kind of our last time seeing him. But one of my aunts lived right near him and was kind of his caretaker toward the end as he was in a home. So she would go and they called and my mom and dad were on their way because they knew it was coming. The time was coming. And they didn't make it in time, but my aunt was with him.
There you go. That's the one person I see by the side of him, and everybody else in another place, another room. That makes sense. Good. Okay. So he recognized all that. And remember, I said there was a smile on his face. There was nothing about his crossing that said, why aren't they here? His memory was remembering everything before that moment.
Okay, good.
Which I find interesting, because at the beginning of these readings, I always say, let go of everything that came before this moment. During the time of someone's crossing, that's what they tend to do. Some of them, they'll just replay the wonderful moments. And to him, he was replaying the humor, the laughter, the ability to just have that many people with him.
Yeah.
During his life.
Nice.
And his wife crossed before him?
Yes.
Yes, she was there waiting, but not that long before him, because she had the ability to be close to him.
Correct.
She was right there. She didn't pull him before he was ready, because I felt there was that piece of her that's saying, come on, I've been waiting. But she didn't do that. She let things play out the way it was meant to. And when he crossed, he stood straight up, ran into her arms. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Ran into her arms and said, I've missed you. It was a beautiful moment. I see it so clearly. What's interesting for me when I see these, it's like a movie.
Yeah.
And I saw him right when he was in the physical world and all the things he did and thought. And then he took me to the time of his crossing and what was going on then. And then the movie plays again. And there he is in the non-physical world with his lovely bride. I feel like he called her his bride, not his wife, but his lovely bride, just holding on to her. And the simple words, I missed you. They were very close.
Yes.
And she took his hand and said, come on, I have so much to show you. And what I find so wonderful about this is that he allowed that. He was ready once he got there. He let her take the lead.
Nice. Yeah.
So would he have been one in the physical world that wouldn't have done that? He would have been the one.
Correct. Absolutely.
He was the one making the plans, taking the lead.
Yeah.
And that's what I think me visualizing that image made it so goosebump worthy.
Right.
Because I felt it was a switch of roles when he came and she said, let me show you now.
Yes.
Beautiful image. I wish I could convey that even more to you, how the love, not just between the two of them, but the love as we cross just expands when we get there, even more than what we felt as humans. Once we reach the other side, that love, because I'm feeling it right now, so vast. I felt it before, but this feels like they are specifically showing me, the two of them, something unimaginable to most of us about how love is such a feeling and not words, but a feeling when we take it into ourselves.
Yes.
And how we can love so much outside of ourselves just by having that feeling within.
Yes. That's awesome.
He's such a receiver, though. And let me explain why I say that. He was able to take so much in the physical world, the play of everyone, the joy of everyone, the humor. Does that make sense?
Yep, for sure.
His receiving of all of that was the way he passed. And that was the reason for his openness when he reached the world of non-physical.
Oh, yeah. That makes complete sense. That's beautiful.
Everything he was and you guys were to him caused such a huge heart opening to him. He remembers nothing of the years when he struggled, when his age got to him. He told me nothing about that.
Okay.
He went right to look at this beautiful new space
Hmm.
that I am in now. Do you understand?
Yes. He's a good guy.
I have just this love for myself right now. And I know our listeners are going to receive this when they hear it. The love, because this vibration that we're building right now, that he is generating for us, is so expansive. I feel like I don't want to do anything else. I just want to feel this love today. For me, that he is literally showing the love I have for myself. So, Jesse, would you say that that might be a challenge for you, the love that you have for yourself?
In some ways, not in a big way, but there's something that is blocking me.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that I'm still trying to get to the bottom of. Maybe worthiness of some.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm working on it, and it's like, well, how do you work on such a thing? You know what I mean? I do a lot of self work, and I have been for several years now. And I give credit to I call him my bumpa.
Oh.
Yes, he was my guy. I don't know.
So let's take a moment, because I knew I had to feel that first to be able to explain it to you. And then, just like the movie plays, I was sensing the need to ask you about that love. And I felt it as something very deep. Whatever's holding you from feeling what I feel right now, it's deep. Like you said, you don't know where it is. It must be buried. It's deep. So, will you allow me to just scan your body for a moment?
Sure. Yes.
I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I'm going to do the same. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one during these readings, but I want to allow spirit to show me, your grandfather specifically, to show me where that block is.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a moment and just do that now and scan from head to toe. And I'm feeling it in if you would go here with me, your left side, just maybe about 2 inches below your rib cage on the left side, there feels a block there. And it's a metaphorical block. I mean, you might have some pain there, sensation there, but it's nothing physical. It feels metaphorical. And there's something there that was pushed there, hidden there, that causes you to question, is this me? Is this what I am meant to be right now? Does that make sense to you, Jesse?
Yeah, it does. Yep.
So I'm going to ask you right now to bring your awareness to that spot in your mind's eye. Take yourself to that area of your belly there and take a deep breath in as you watch that spot expand with breath. And as you exhale, breath flowing out through that area. And on the next inhale, see the word love in your head and use that word love to breathe new love in through that spot. So as you inhale, take the word love and bring it through that area. And as you exhale, bring the word love through and down through that spot. Is that working for you?
Yes, I'm getting it.
And the next breath, if you could imagine love, the feeling of love, what would that feel like? Let's start with the feeling of it, let's say in your arms. What would the feeling of love feel like? And get the sensation in both your arms. And your grandfather's helping you right now. You might have some tingling in your arms. And allow that feeling of love, the sensation of love, to come up through your arms and right into your heart center, the center of your chest. It's almost like a whoosh. Can you sense that?
Yeah, and I can see it as well, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. That's what I'm working with right here.
Bush, I saw like like with my eyes closed, I saw like a water, like a flowing.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So we're taking that sensation of love, bringing it up through our arms into our heart center, and then it goes the other way, out of the heart center and down through your arms. Now I'm going to ask you to place your hands on that spot that we were talking about and continue to watch that love, that sensation of love, come out of your heart, down through your arms, and out your hands. I'm going to do the same thing, out your hands and placing it on that left side of your belly. And we're going to take at least 2 more breaths and watch that sensation out and through, making a complete circle. Oh, I'm getting myself like a little tinge of something like you get after running too much. What do you call that? Right on that left side, right underneath my hands. We're watching the breath make a complete circle of love in through the heart, out through the arms, back into that space, back up through, just watching this whoosh. Wow, I really feel that too. Whoever's listening, if you're listening to this podcast, go back. If you didn't do it, and do it too. Put it on any other part of your body that you feel needs it right now. I'm going to take one more breath, Jesse, with this. And I'm going to take a moment to thank your grandfather for showing us this sensation of love and where we need it to go in our physical body. Wow. How did that feel, Jesse? Do you want to say anything else about that?
It felt very light and whole at the same time.
Right? Could you feel it?
Yeah, in my arms when you first started talking about it, I could feel it in my arms. It wasn't for like a real tingle, but it was a lesser grade tingle.
Yeah.
And then it's like my mind's eye started to open a little bit with my eyes closed, and I could see, I was envisioning the word love, like in letters written out, love. And then I kept seeing little hearts, the love turning into a heart shape. And then it was like the whooshing, like maybe lines, kind of like water lines or something. Yes. Something did happen there. Thank you.
Thank you to your grandfather. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It was just an interesting movie that I watched that led to this. Okay, now what about Jesse?
Uh-huh.
And it was a moment of him expressing so much of his own life and the love that he has. And then how being in the afterlife causes that love. Look, there's nowhere else for it to go but throughout everything.
Yeah, sure.
And then honoring where you are right now and what you need. I feel the movie started with, what about Jesse? Do you understand how what this is about is more our healing as physical souls and what our loved ones can do for us in the afterlife?
Yes, right.
And you allowed that, Jesse. You allowed that, as well as I know everyone listening is also going to allow that from your grandfather.
He's a good one.
Donna's physical body received this entire last 25 minutes or so. I have to thank you, Jesse, for finding me and finding this podcast and allowing it to be shared.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I can tell you right now too that my left side, more like below my rib and down my left leg. I'm getting a little bit of some tingles, and it's very light as compared to my right side.
There's going to be movement throughout the day today.
Yeah.
We did this
Beautiful thing together.
beautiful thing together. And the body is working now. The body in that area is accepting and receiving the love. So throughout the day, everybody today, throughout the day, send that, keep sending breath there. Drink water, maybe just a little hands-on, just holding there and sending that breath again through the heart center, through the arms. Beautiful work we did, Jesse. What great work.
I needed that oneness work that we did. I loved it. I needed it.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank my guests today for allowing all of us to join in on their process, their journey. And I'd like to thank you for not only listening, but coming together in a oneness vibration. Thanks again.